Welcome to Milestone Moments, the show where we explore the journeys that lead to success. I'm Sheila Slick, your host and founder of 5 Milestones. In every episode, we will bring you insights from the minds of entrepreneurs, leaders, and experts who will share not just their expertise, but the milestone moments that have reshaped their journeys and led to significant achievements. So if you're looking for motivation, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and discover the milestones that mark the path to success. Welcome to another episode of Milestone Moments in Business and Leadership. I'm Sheila Slick, your host. And today, my special guest is Reland Logan. As a visionary brand strategist, Reland specializes in catapulting women-owned consulting agencies to the pinnacle of success through the brand extraordinary method. Her strategic insight and unique approach help businesses shatter glass ceilings and attract champagne clientele, turning aspirations into achievements with unmatched impact and efficiency. So let's get ready to elevate your brand with the architect of brand innovation and luxury client acquisition, Reland Logan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Sheila. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm really excited to have a conversation with you again today. I absolutely enjoyed meeting you last time we spoke. And what I learned was that you've helped a lot of women-owned consulting agencies go from promising to powerhouse. What was that turning point in your journey that led you to create the brand extraordinary method?
I think, there's the actual turning point, but there is just a little bit in the past that we have to understand about me. So I'm the oldest of 6. Majority of us are girls. And our dad we weren't really raised to be little girls who would sit there, be quiet, and play and be happy. We were really put in front of a lot of powerhouse women, whether it was judges or CEOs or our own moms, for example. Our dad put us in front of a lot of incredible women and said, look, you can do this. You can do this. And so as I got older, I started to notice that the rest of the world doesn't operate that way. That was a kick to the stomach. But it took me a little bit of shifting through my 20s to say, I think my dad was right. And moving into just being more of an adult and just seeing how the world was operating. So last year, for anybody who's watching this in the far, far future, it is currently 2025. And I flew to California to do a brand shoot. And it was my brand shoot. And it was the day after the election. And beyond politics, for me, it was just watching a woman go out there, put herself out there, and get knocked down again. And I was just over it. So I am in legitimately a ball gown on the beach, drinking champagne, and I'm surrounded by all these incredible women. And I just look at everybody and go, I'm over it. And they're like, you're over what? And I was like, I'm over women's messaging getting smothered. I'm tired of still having to break glass ceilings at this point in my life. I'm going to help women do this. So that November, I did what I refer to as turtle shelling, where I retreat into my shell and I really fine-tuned and hunkered out that brand extraordinary method. I put my whole soul into it from start to finish. And I decided to create my own podcast, Select Sleep, and I just went for it. So the end of 2024, I threw all my chips on the table and said, we're doing it. And that has been a game changer.
So have you been in branding, marketing your entire life? I know that you mentioned your dad, and I think if I remember correctly, he's military. So you could have gone, through a different career path.
I was supposed to be an attorney, Sheila. I was supposed to be an attorney. Don't you know? No, I have not been in brand and marketing my whole life. My dad I wanted to be a child psychiatrist. And in high school, I was voted most likely to be famous. So I am probably somewhat famous from a brand and marketing perspective. I'm clearly not a child psychiatrist. So me and my dad got into it one year because I didn't want to be an attorney like he is. And I decided I was going to go to art school instead if I was paying for my own college. So I went to school for fashion marketing. I worked in the fashion industry for quite a chunk of time. Somehow got sucked into staffing. We had a whole pandemic. Don't know if anybody remembers that. And I lost my job like a week before my 30th birthday. And instead of staying on hold with unemployment, I just decided I was going to start a marketing agency. I'm a bold one as I'm saying these things out loud.
I love it because it just shows, right, how life can pivot and sometimes due to unexpected circumstances, because that's what COVID was. But it sounds like it led you to your passion, to your next chapter.
It did. And it's been amazing.
So back to the beach, back to the gown and the champagne. The phrase champagne clientele, where that concept was born, is very bold and it's also intriguing. So I'd love to know what it really means and what is that biggest mindset shift that business owners need to make to start attracting those top tier clients.
Oh my gosh. I wish I could whip out a whiteboard right now. I'm not going to do that. But champagne clientele are those dream clients. They're willing to pay your prices. They want to solve a very specific problem and they want it done well. And champagne clients, I always refer to the term of they have champagne problems. So they're not trying to dig themselves out of the weeds. They're not looking for an order taker. They're looking for somebody who wants to be alongside them as a strategic vision because they want to stay in their genius zone. Champagne clients are the people who rave about you, are excited to work with you. They don't have to necessarily have a ton of money, but it is a mindset within them that says, hey, I know that I need to stay on my path and you can help me accelerate that path. So walk alongside me and use your genius zone to help impact my genius zone. Whereas I like to think of things as a pyramid. Is that a good pyramid for anybody who's watching this? And as a pyramid, and most of us are fighting for the bottom of that pyramid. We're like, hey, keep saying all the same things as everybody else. And if you keep throwing spaghetti at the wall and send 100 million LinkedIn messages, I can get you 20 booked meetings this month. Yeah, no, stop, please stop. It's just contributing to the noise. And so champagne clientele, they're above that noise. They're above that. They're like, yeah, but that seems icky. They're the type of people who are going to be alongside you in that way of being like, no, I just want this one thing done. I don't want you to do everything for me. I don't, that all that is handled. I have this one problem and I recognize this one problem can take me to the next level if it's solved. And so champagne clientele, they're the ones you want to kick it with and drink champagne with and get the job done.
So for someone that's ready to level up, but perhaps is feeling stuck in that I'm not good enough zone, what would be one branding move that they can make today to start positioning themselves as a market leader?
Go to your homepage on your website. Okay. I have been on a tangent about this, and I want you to think about two different types of restaurants. I want you to think of a buffet where you pick up a plate and you put everything on that plate, or think of being at a really nice restaurant that has a tasting menu experience. All right. Two vastly different places. Lots of food, two vastly different places, two different bills at the end of the night, too, if we're being quite frank with each other. You want to be the tasting menu for your website. So what I want you to do is I want you to go and look top to bottom on just your homepage to start. And I want you to look at it. And I'm going to acronym for all of you real quick. So if you have a piece of paper, write down the word flute going up and down. And I want you to look at the very start of your website and I want you to say, is this tapping into the feeling of either pain or pleasure? Okay. Is it what your ideal client has pain around? Or is it something that your ideal client is pining over, really wants in their life? If it is talking about you, cut it out, okay? Because you got to get real clear about the person who's reading it. You don't need to get clear about you. You need to get clear about the person who's reading it. Then you want to, L, for my friends who really like order, you want to leverage what that feeling of pain or pleasure is. We want to really start to amplify that, agitate the pain if that's what you need to do. You need to dig in and start to show people that you understand their problem better than they do, because the reality is if you can prove to somebody that you understand their pain better than they do, then you are going to be able to close that sale faster, and people are going to start hopping on calls not to validate if you're real or not, but to actually say, I know you can help me. Two different conversations, champagne clientele. They're looking for the person who can help them. And then as we keep going, we want to also, let's spell flute in my head here, we want to show that we understand and can uncover real strong data points. All right, y'all? Like understand and amplify what it is that they really want. So at this point, we've done a lot of emotion. We're like, hey, listen, I feel your pain. I understand your pain. No, really, like it sucks. Like your whole life is upending because this one thing is keeping you stuck. And look, I've been there and I've solved that before. Then we are going to anchor that down, that T. We're going to just really start to hone in on some kind of, I just said like 5 things in my head at one time. That's why I paused. We want to anchor it in credibility, okay? So anchoring in credibility, logos you've worked with, that works. Testimonials you've worked that people have given, that works. If you don't have those things yet, data points that support your emotions with fact, because there's going to be people who need tangible facts over emotions. And then after that, we want to elevate your solution. So really share what is your solution to the problem. If you cannot answer those things, that's why you're stuck. And if your homepage isn't saying those things, that's also why you're stuck. So really look at your homepage and say, is this a buffet where people can just like pick and choose anything they want? Or is this a curated experience from top to bottom, telling us a story about how our appetizer came to be all the way to how dessert came to be? Because if you can do that, then people are going to hand you a lot of money.
Well, I love how you tied it in with the flute. It took me a second or two to tie it back in a champagne clientele. So it's all part of the brand.
Oh,
Very,
I'm a brand strategist. I can't help it.
very clever. So what is your next milestone?
My next milestone, my personal next milestone is to be a millionaire. I'm going to hit 7 figures. That's my next big milestone. I'm going to say it from a mountaintop until it happens. But that's my next big milestone, and not just so I have money, which is nice, but the ability to give back, the ability to. I really love working with children. I really love it. I miss coaching cheer, but I have a little guy, so his sports are the center of my whole universe right now. And but I would really like to take money, give it to cheer teams that need new uniforms or need mats for safety. I would really like to put it into girls who want to become business owners and give back in that way. And so having the ability to also hire women who might be stay-at-home moms who still have these creative abilities but need to work from home. Like there's just so many things I can do if I had $1 million plus another million plus another million. That could just change the way that women operate in society, and the ability to do that would be so, so powerful. So that's my next milestone, not because I want money, but because I just want to use it to change it on so many different levels. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Roland.
Always a pleasure, Sheila. You just tell me when and where.
And where can we find you online?
Yes. So you can find me on LinkedIn. Reland Logan, there is only one. So Reland. I will show up. I might have a hat on, might have sunglasses on. If you come to a page and there's a girl drinking champagne, it's probably me. And then you can also find me just at my website. So Gray, digital, mktg.co. I will be there. But Reland Logan is the fastest way to find me on the internet because I really am, I think, probably close to the only one.
We'll also leave all of the URLs on the podcast show description on the notes. So make sure that you check those out so that you can connect with her. And thank you all for joining me on another episode of Milestone Moments in Business and Leadership. Until next time.